The member for Florey.
Thank you, sir. My question is to the Minister for Education. What additional funds and other measures will be put in place to employ additional instrumental music teachers in the public education system as Year 7s move to high schools?
The Minister for Education.
Yeah, look, I thank the member for the question. There's a range of ways in which we deliver music support for students at school. We have some specialist music schools. Members would be familiar with those. We have an instrumental music service which provides group instruction for students in up to Year 12 and some, I believe, one-on-one tuition for some Year 12 students. And that service has maintained a reasonably consistent number of people over the period that I'm aware of. I think it's in the time that I've been the Minister that I don't think that's changed very much. In addition, we have encouraged, as we've increased resources to schools to look at the work that they do in music, and indeed some schools, in addition to engaging music teachers, which they may have, some offer the opportunity for students to use through either hourly paid instructors or private music instructors the opportunity to study music as an individual or indeed in group settings. I remember the member for Port Adelaide, when she was Education Minister, was confronted with an industrial dispute brought on by the Australian Education Union, who did not want private music instructors to be allowed to engage with students in public schools, and I thought that the member for Port Adelaide, when she was Education Minister, handled that matter very well. In the end, I think that it was a sensible resolution that was achieved. It was a resolution I remember discussing with her ahead of that, and I seriously doubt that it wasn't underway anyway. It was a sensible and logical opportunity for schools that had endeavoured to find individual music instructors that were appropriate and within the school's budget and so forth for a student. That not being possible, a private music instructor could be allowed. So that was the situation confronting the situation available to support students studying music when we came to government, and all of those resources have continued. Two new things have happened since coming to government. First, we've announced that Year 7s are going to high school. This has seen an investment, significant investment over and above what was previously on the books for infrastructure, and indeed many of those infrastructure dollars have gone to supporting performing arts facilities being improved in schools, highlighting the value of music programs for students. There is also, sir, an investment, and originally it was budgeted at about $40 million a year. It could be a little bit more than that potentially now as we've got more students than we had before, but $40 million a year extra going into our schools to recognise that in our high schools we have more need for subject specialist teachers and specialist learning environments, and reflecting the environment of a high school education, where rather than the primary school where you mostly have generalist teachers, maybe a specialist music teacher or the instrumental music service available depending on the circumstances. In that high school environment now, with $40 million extra going in to support music education and other specialist subjects, many high schools are investing more. That's a matter for the individual school and their circumstances. Some were specialist music schools and some already had music programs, some are expanding those. In addition to that, I'm very pleased to advise the House that I think it was late 2018, we implemented a new music education strategy, which I think had in the order of about $7 million over the forward estimates, but it's ongoing funding that has supported significant amounts of new support for... Sorry, the Labor government is now claiming credit for a press release they had, which is actually not relevant to the work that I did with Graham Kerner for the Melda Conservatorium and Vincent Ciccarello from the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra and a range of other people. It's an extraordinary body of work, and it's been in place since late 2018, and it continues going forward. Labor had 16 years to do these things.
Order.
Labor had 16 years. It was a long 16 years. They didn't achieve it. This government has.